What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's video. I'm extremely excited for today's video. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the different steps that we take to building wealth as real estate investors. I see so many people going about this fully backwards. I see people being all scattered, buying investment properties without any structure, rhyme, or reason to what they're building. And instead of building wealth and passive cash flow, what they end up building are huge headaches or huge money holes that they don't have the ability to get themselves out of. The reality is that the secret to building wealth isn't about finding the best strategy. It's about doing the right strategy at the right stage in your journey. A deal that makes me $100,000 today could have bankrupted me 3 years ago. So I want to break down the 4-stage sequence nobody talks about. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Philip Loudon. We have done over 200 transactions over the past 5 years. We've sold over 60 properties on seller financing and long-term lease options. I help people build passive real estate portfolios in purposeful ways to help build the life of their dreams. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 4 stages of real estate investing, why most people skip crucial steps, stay broke, and what stage you're currently in, which will show you what exactly you should be focusing on right now at this stage in your journey. So I'm going to walk you through each of the 4 stages: active income, cash flow, tax mitigation, long-term wealth, and show you specific strategies for each stage. I'll also show you some deals that we've done throughout our stages to kind of show you how we've gone through this process over the past several years. For most people, when they're starting out, there are 2 major limitations. One is that you don't have the capital to deploy, and 2 is that you don't have the skill sets required to do this type of model. And that's why today we're going to go over the steps to generational wealth. The first step is to focus on active income and capital foundations. Some people that we work with already have high-paying W-2s. They're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month with their W-2s. If you're one of the people that don't have any reserves, you don't have any savings, you don't have any capital on the side, going into buying rentals is a recipe for disaster. For the most part, they do not cash flow after capital expenditure, after repairs. They can totally sink you. It's the right answer at the very beginning is get your active income up. And there's many different ways to do this. If you're one of those people that have the will, you have the desire, but you don't have more than $5,000, $3,000, $2,000 in your bank account, this is where we start building active income. I'm a huge proponent of doing this in a way that you're also stacking skill sets. Because if you can do wholesale and learn how to find a deal, learn how to lock a deal up, learning skills and getting paid to play, you can begin looking at deals, locking one up. I have a guy right now that just sent me a deal. He's going to get paid $7,000 for this deal. If I were to work a job, then I would find a wholesale company I could close for, right? I would find a real estate team that I could call agents for. Some of the most successful people I've seen who make the best transitions from active income to buy and hold, they began working on a team, right? And now they're seeing the whole operation from the inside out. They're seeing where everything's coming from. They're starting to learn how to underwrite, how to comp deals, how to wholesale deals, what investors are looking for. And these skill sets are invaluable because you're going to need these skill sets regardless. We are playing in decades, and to make it in real estate and to make it in anything in life, all it takes is consistency over time. Things get easier and goals get larger. It's easy to forget that we're actually growing so much. But if I look back at myself 5 years ago, I would be extremely excited for the progress that was made. So step 1, active income and capital foundation. Have at least $10,000 in your bank account before you start holding on to your own assets. Now you have some capital, you have some skills that you built up, but you're still trading time for money. You haven't replaced your monthly expenses with passive income yet, and you're still dependent on the next deal. Now let's get into step 2. This is the most fun step in the journey. This is one of the most liberating steps in the journey. It's one of the most liberating feelings ever when you start building passive cash flow to replace the active income you need to generate. This is where you start doing buy and holds. What we teach is the best way to do this is wraps and long-term lease options. So there are beautiful parts of wraps and long-term lease options. One is going to be a very complementary skill set to whatever you're doing in step number 1. So say that you build your active income by flipping houses. Now we can use that skill set to transition to buy and hold real estate. Say you built your active income by calling sellers and doing sales, transition that skill set to doing buy and hold real estate. And I do work directly with clients. If you did want to work with me, we would go through this, do an audit, and really figure out how we would structure that step number 2 to start building that cash flow. So how we do it is with wraps and long-term lease options. Now we're transitioning from, say, a $10,000 wholesale into $150,000 profit over 7 years. And we're turning that $10,000 wholesale into ideally money up front, along with $700 of cash flow per month. Things in your life are starting to get covered by cash flow. And that feeling is extremely inspiring. It inspires me to do more deals. It inspires me to make more active income. I love squirreling my money away into real estate because it inspires me to build more and more active income. So these are all $100,000 seeds. We have many videos where we break down actual deals. You see the numbers, how this equates to $100,000 seeds. On average, these deals make over $100,000 in 7 years. You do 10 of these and you should be at tier 1 financial freedom. You should be working your way up to being an equity millionaire. The equity is the amount that's remaining in your note, the difference between what you owe the bank and what the family owes you. Those are future paydays. These are piggy banks for the future. I love planting these as much and often as I can. And why we see this as step number 2 is because you can continue doing active income. You can add on 1 to 2 more steps, and you can still have your focus over here while also adding on 1 to 2 more steps and starting to cherry pick these deals. Because once you set these up, they're pretty much fully passive. The families have ownership mindset. You're collecting cash flow, mailbox money. You don't need to worry about capital expenditure. No one's calling you because they have a toilet that breaks. Is the most cash flow you will get for single family real estate, least amount of headaches. For me, this is an absolute no-brainer, best way to build passive residual income. My friend Michael had around 60 rentals in Kansas City. We helped him transition his entire portfolio to wraps and lease options. Now he's up to about 100 houses. Become a master of one thing. It's easy to get shiny object syndrome. This is extremely normal. I see it. What about RV parks, mobile home parks? What about, this could be a rental. This could be a co-living. So I spoke to a mentor the other day and he said, if you're not going to do something more than 10 times, don't do it once. It is a business. That's why we focus on this strategy, getting you to $10,000 per month of passive residual income. Become a master of the strategy, focus on deal finding and stacking residuals. Until you do this to the point where you have tier 1 financial freedom, stay in step number 2. Another thing about the step 2 strategy of wraps and lease options is that your cash on cash returns are extremely high with these strategies. When people are doing rentals, they usually want a cash on cash return of maybe 15%, meaning that they're not going to get all their money back out of that deal until year 6, year 7, right? When we're doing wraps and lease options, we can get all of our money back out immediately from that down payment. And so that allows for us to utilize our money more and reuse our money and gain close to infinite returns. And then you have ways to work with partners. There's many ways to scale this model. And if you're at the stage where you want to scale this model, reach out to me directly, book a call. We know what it takes to scale this strategy. Now you've got cash flow. We love cash flow. It's a beautiful thing of life. But now you're making, say, $10,000 to $30,000 a month in passive income, and the IRS wants their cut. So without proper tax strategy, you're going to give away 30%, 40% of every single dollar that you make. So one of the amazing things about real estate, one of the amazing things about the United States is that we have ways to mitigate our taxes. If we are smart, if we learn the rules, that's the next stage of this investing journey. We've created freedom. As you know, if you watch my other videos, it's also about a lifestyle design. We're structuring our lives. We're structuring our portfolios to serve our lives. If I have rentals all over the country and I'm getting a bunch of phone calls from a bunch of different places about people that are just like distraught, that's not peace, right? So I structure my life to be peaceful and profitable. So I'm able to have spontaneous trips where I go to the Amazon with high-level entrepreneurs, where I can say yes to doing a mission trip in Mexico for a month, where I can go to Israel for 2 weeks. I structure my life so I can say yes to these opportunities, right? And I don't want to be on a mission trip in Mexico getting phone calls from someone because their toilet broke. I want systems and processes to create peace and ease in my life. So step 3, tax mitigation through depreciation. You can double down and just continue building that passive portfolio. Or at this point, it's a really good opportunity to pepper in these short-term lease options. I like short-term lease options for several reasons. One is you can build in more appreciation over time. So the deals will be more profitable over time. They're still very passive. We put it in our paperwork that these families have to take care of repairs under $5,000. Those repairs are on them. In exchange for that, we give them some level of rent credit. But repairs over $5,000, major repairs, we are responsible for. So if the roof is bad and I need to replace a roof, I will be getting that phone call. But if there is a toilet that is broken, I'm not getting that phone call. So we're going to structure things. It's minimal headaches. We do 10-year lease options. This gives them more time to execute. For me, it doesn't matter if they execute sooner. These are my piggy banks. There's equity in capitalizing on appreciation at the end of not being able to succeed after 10 years. We're going to transition them to seller financing, right? And these deals will be more profitable over time. Also, because we have those responsibilities for repairs, we are able to write off depreciation. And then you can start looking into cost segregation studies and new policies for depreciation. So depreciation is going to be ways to mitigate the active income that you're earning. So you can start lowering that tax burden. I work very hard for my money. I work very hard for building my active income. I don't want to see that just squandered away and disappearing to the IRS. If we know the rules, there are ways to mitigate this. I will do a call in a few weeks with my tax advisor, Ben Rucker, to go deep into tax strategy and how to structure portfolios so that they're most tax advantageous. If you're enjoying this video, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps support the channel energetically, as well as actually helps more eyeballs to see this content. A final thing about these longer term lease options is you still have true cash flow, right? There will be more cash pits. For example, the HVAC, the AC stops working, the furnace stops working. That will be cash out of pocket. So there is a little bit more capital expenditure, but your depreciation is going to offset that. And overall, the deals will be more profitable. We're now in the final stage of long-term wealth and portfolio diversification. Step 4, the active income is not as important anymore. Now I'm thinking about offsetting my taxes and building generational wealth for my children and their children. This is where I like buy and hold portfolio, doing low interest rate rentals, finding good sub twos, finding good seller finance deals. I'm closing on a property in the next 30, 40 days where this property has extremely good underlying financing. There's a large seller financing portion at 0% interest, $190,000 at 0% interest. And we also have a very low interest rate subject to underlying mortgage on it. I can probably break even on a rental. I'm going to have to come out of pocket for capital expenditure. But if I do a cost segregation study on this deal, that's going to offset a ton of my taxes. And every single month, I'm paying down $800, $900 of debt pay down. So I'm not realizing the cash flow up front, but I'm at the stage in my investment journey where I don't need to realize that cash flow up front. For me, that $800, $900 of debt pay down plus the depreciation, plus the appreciation is going to turn this asset into $1 million asset over the next 30 years. That's where I start to go. It's still in the single family space, it's allowing me to get good assets. If I need to hire a property manager to mitigate headaches, I've already built a lot of cash flow. I've built the active income. I'm not as worried about cash flow on long-term wealth building. They can go into larger asset classes, multifamily syndication, co-living or rent by the room. You can start looking at RV parks, mobile home parks. There's all these different larger assets you can start looking at. I talk to my mentors and it's a constant struggle to offset active income, right? Because the more you grow, I need to put this money somewhere so that I'm not taxed a bunch on it. And so learning how to do that strategy over time. I constantly have my mentors I'm with who are several steps ahead of me. I talk to them all the time so I can learn from them and learn from their processes and follow in their footsteps. Long-term wealth building is an ongoing journey. From my experience, it is an evolving strategy. It's an evolving strategy over time. Co-living is another good one. As I mentioned earlier, if you're not going to do a strategy 10 times, don't do it once. I don't want to build a business around rent by the room because it is a business. I like what I have built at the wraps and lease options. Now I can pepper in a few Section 8s, get a property management company in there that I like. Those assets are going to build wealth over time and offset my taxes from the other properties and active income. A few other things about long-term investing strategies. The appreciation upside is also huge. Being able to capitalize on that appreciation and then knowing creative financing strategies when we can get 0 to 3% debt. That's absolute gold in an economy where we're getting 6.5% to 8% debt. I like to go for the financial arbitrage and pay down that debt as fast as possible. I personally am not a big debt guy. I don't like debt very much. I use debt for real estate. That's good debt. I want to pay down good interest rate debt fast. My mindset is squirrel away money. If I get a $50,000 wholesale, $30,000 wholesale, or $50,000 down payment on a wrap, how can I buy 2 more wraps? how can I take that money, move it into more assets, and continue multiplying my assets? And that's how I want to play it out. We don't want to create headaches. We want to create things in a way that we are enjoying our lives. There's no reason to build a ton of wealth if we hate our lives, dealing with headaches. If we wake up in the morning exhausted, we have to deal with a bunch of headaches. We are structuring our lives so that we can be energized, so that we're doing the things we want to do on a day-to-day basis, and we're living life on our terms. And with this, my whole philosophy and why I teach people to get their first $10,000 a month in passive residual income is I believe that we are more freed up to live out God's will for us when we have that weight of needing to make money off our chest. And the reality is we are constantly living out God's will. We're constantly living out our purposes in life, our dharma, our karma, whatever you want to say. It's constantly happening. And as we're building these skill sets, we're growing into the people we get to become to create the lives of our dreams. But I've talked to many people, and it is my core belief that having $10,000 or more of passive income per month makes life more enjoyable. Remember, the journey is the destination. There is no there. There's always that next thing. Ray Dalio always talks about how life is like you're going up a mountain. You think you want to get to the peak, but what they don't tell you is when you're halfway up, you see the next mountain. Life plays tricks like this where we don't realize that we actually got to the peak of that first mountain. We're so busy looking at the second mountain. Enjoy the journey, continue learning, building skill sets. This is the game of business and life. So enjoy the process. Surround yourself with people that inspire you, help you, that are rooting for you, that believe in your dreams. It's very much so possible. I'm surrounded by people that are several steps ahead of me, and also people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. That is my final spiel. This is my breakdown for how to build wealth through real estate and the different stages that I have gone through and I'm continuing to go through. So the question is not what is the best strategy? The question is what stage am I in? And can I stay focused? Can I remove shiny object syndrome? Can I really hone in to be focused on one thing? I spoke to another person recently who he's like, I'm doing land here and this here and wholesaling here. And I'm like, how many deals have you done in the past year? He said, 2. I'm like, why do you need to be in 6 different markets if you've only done 2 deals? Focus in, get focused on one thing, do it well. We were doing 6 wholesales a month in Kansas City, up to 5 wraps per month, all in one market. Stay focused, stay honed in. Here's what I want you to do. If you're in stage 1, join our school community. If you're in stage 2 or 3, reach out to me and talk to me. I have people that I coach. You can work directly with me. I help people to get to that $10,000 per month. There should be a calendar link below. You can do a consultation below or message me directly on school. We have students getting their first wrap deals within a week. I have 3 students about to finish their first ever wrap deals. And students like Jacob, who's an equity millionaire at the age of 25, and he's done over 20 of these deals and consistently does 1 per month, working under 20 hours per week on it. So all links are in the description. Whether you want to tap in or not, the biggest takeaway is stop having shiny object syndrome, focus on one thing, identify your stage, double down on that stage, stack skills, and continue building. Thank you guys for watching this far. Be sure to like and subscribe on the videos. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for being present and watching, and I hope this is valuable to you.